So I got my second G.I. Joe figure. This is Roadblock to go with Destro. I wasn't going to collect this line. And these were the first two announced. And I just, I kind of, even though I have a long history with G.I. Joe, I just kind of thought, do I need another line? But I wasn't sure whether they were going to, Mezco was actually going to go all in on this or just produce a few. And they seem to be going all in. So we'll see where it goes. Here are my original. These are Hasbro from the 1980s. So that is Roadblock and Destro. So I'm actually trying to sell these ones. They're not, I don't think these look appealing on a shelf. I mean, for maybe somebody from that era, but these are 100 times nicer. So this one is really cool. Now, I think it's more than a coincidence that the line that they're doing, that the G.I. Joes and Cobras that they've chosen so closely align with the two films, although I don't think that Mezco is trying to create the figures. This is obviously not Dwayne Johnson. And in the films, Destro never actually looked like that. That's the classic comic book cartoon version of Destro. And this is the classic look of Roadblock. So it's really interesting because so the helmet has to be attached or has to be placed on, and it's snug. I would worry about putting it on and off because it's so snug. These the vest here has to be attached and it kind of snaps in. It's not metal snaps, it's just rubber. Then this pack here pulls up his thigh and it can attach here at the side. These knee pads, I guess they're knee pads. There's nothing in the instructions that mention what these are. These are clearly not arm pads because they're too big. They also, even on the product solicitation, doesn't mention these. So I just assumed they were knee pads, but they're completely separate, and I had to put them on. There is a ton of stuff that comes with Roadblock. So we have here, well, before I go into that, we have another awesome box. First of all, I like the fact that it's very small. It's no bigger than it needs to be for all the stuff that comes inside. It has the classic 80s look to Roadblock. Really nice box. I like these boxes. They're trying to evoke the nostalgia for the original figures, except they are obviously far more detailed. There are two other, and underneath this vest, he has a camouflage tank top like that there. I kind of would have liked to have used this one so that you could see his tank top. Unfortunately, it's rubber, and which is fine, but it's damn near impossible to get on because he would have to. This one opens up. This one I don't believe does. So he'd have to like slip his legs through here. And although it's rubber and can stretch, it would be a heck of a challenge to get that on. And this is an expensive figure, and I don't feel like damaging parts of it. So I opted not to do it. This other one is another one that I don't know. It's got stretchy bands on it, and then it can attach this thing here, which I'll go into later. And again, it would be challenging to get this on, and I'd be so afraid of damaging it. So I chose not to. This is his gun holster. This would slide up his thigh, and then theoretically this attaches to that piece right there. I couldn't get it up far enough to attach it, so I didn't use it. And some of these things are a little bit disappointing, and I'm sure I could just use enough force to push it up, but I just fear, these are cloth pants. When you're applying pressure in there, you have the chance to damage it. Um, Even these knee pads were a little bit worrisome. Everything is plastic, by the way, plastic and rubber. Uh, the band could break or something like that. So I'm so cautious with doing anything with these figures. So this backpack, this will do the classic tripod. You can see there in the figure, the tripod is kind of extended out there and there. There's two of the legs of the tripod. So this tripod can be assembled. These pieces all come out. Okay, so there's the base, the three legs, and then this main piping. And then this thing can close up. You know what? I'm not going to do it. I'll do it later. And then, well, let's see. Can I do this? Nah, all right, forget it. And then this thing twists to lock it in. He's got his guns. Of course, Roadblock has the largest of the guns. These are, again, all plastic. And then a little bit of a smaller gun. That's kind of his thing, is having huge guns. And then we've got 6 hand grenades. We got a knife and then a pistol. I would have loved to have the pistol in his holster and a holster on his thigh, but I couldn't do it without probably really cranking it, and I didn't want to do that. So I don't want to spend all that money on a figure and then damage it. He's got several other faces. He's got a much angrier face, and then let's see. Should have prepared it. He's got 2 faces. I guess this is a happy face. And then he's got all sorts of other hands, gripping hands, all sorts of stuff. So it's really interesting to me, and Mezco does this all the time, which is they have, and not just Mezco, other figure makers do this too. Bandai does it, which is include a ton of extras. I don't remember ever having this many extras. So he literally has 3 different optional backpacks, or not backpacks, but vests. And so it's kind of like, well, why? Why does he have all those vests? Why does he have 6 different grenades? And you can say, well, to play with. But who would play with this? It even says on the box, or it says, let's see. It says 18 and above. So how many people who are 18 and above are going to be playing with the figure? And it says it's for collectors. So clearly it's not intended to be played with. So I guess that the reason it comes with all those optional vests is so that you have the option to present him as you wish. But again, those other vests, well, you really have to crank that figure to get those vests on. And so I went with I kind of wanted to go with kind of the vest he has there, which would be this vest here. Although it's not quite the same. That has some, well, this has some little pockets also. But it's a great figure. I'm not going to complain that there's too much stuff, but all of this stuff, other than what he's wearing there, is going to go in a box and it's going to sit there forever. So The figure looks fantastic. The musculature, the articulation is very nice. This facial sculpt, I love that they're going with the classic look. I would not even buy it were they going with the movie actors or the movie version. And I don't know that they can even legally do that, because I don't know that they're getting permission from the movie studio. I think they're just doing their own thing, which is kind of what Mezco does, and I like that about it. So that's cool. I have now 2 figures, and we have another 4 that are announced, including we have Snake Eyes, Firefly. Okay, the last one announced was Duke, and again, you could see that all of these characters were from the movies. They were prominently in the movies. And Duke was the last announced. I think Firefly was next to last, but Firefly is scheduled to be the next one released and could be released any time. So I think 3 out of the 4 are scheduled to be released fairly soon. And then we have Duke, which I think is more in the summertime. It feels like these generally get released as late as possible. Like I think that Roadblock was scheduled to be like September to November or something, and here we are in January, and I just got it. So they always seem to be a bit delayed, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's at least a few more months before the next one comes out. So what would be next? If they're continuing to do what they're doing, which is releasing figures that are prominent in the movies, I don't understand why they haven't done or announced Cobra Commander yet, because Cobra Commander seems like the obvious character that would be released. And then we have the women. We've never had a female character yet, so we have Lady J, Scarlet, and of course Baroness. So these are not my picks of who I want to see. These are the picks of who I predict we're going to see next. Then obviously you have Zartan and Flint. And the one character that had a major role in the first movie that I don't think they're going to produce is Ripcord, only because I don't know that there's too many people clamoring for Ripcord. I'm not sure why they even chose to have Ripcord as one of the most prominent characters in the first movie, but they did. But I don't see a Ripcord coming. But I'm really glad that I chose to go with these. I have the other 4 on pre-order, and I think these are going to look really nice. So I probably like Destro better. I don't know. It's hard to say. The gimmicks on here all look gorgeous. They just, I don't know that they necessarily work well. And I think part of it is that I'm so cautious with my figures. I don't want to damage the figure or an accessory, and I'm not willing to start stretching this rubber out just to jam on a backpack or a vest or whatever. So anyway, I'm really pleased with this figure. Looks gorgeous. Looks fantastic. And highly recommended if you're a Mezco fan, if you're a G.I. Joe fan. So that's Roadblock from Mezco.